graduating class, distinguished faculty, students, parents, families, board of directors, staff, friends, and supporters. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 commencement exercises of the Colburn School's Conservatory of Music. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our commencement speakers and Colburn alumni, the Calidor Quartet, and to Colburn School Board Chairman, Andrew Milstein. Graduates, today we collectively celebrate each of you and your accomplishments and wish you well as you enter the next chapter of your lives. Who could have imagined in March of 2020 that 14 months later, the world would still be battling this horrible pandemic? And yet, our small community has pulled together in remarkable ways to support one another and to continue our mission of educating you, the next generation of great classical musicians. As Los Angeles slowly begins to emerge from the crisis and we see light at the end of the tunnel, there are many people I want to thank today who have been part of your journey over this past year. First of all, you, our graduates, for your resilience, your determination, your perseverance. You continued to practice, study, grow, perform, teach, and reach people through your music, all the while gaining new skills and new perspectives. You've kept us all going, inspired by your artistry, to find new ways to support you and the field of classical music in this challenging time. Our gifted faculty, who across multiple platforms and multiple time zones guided and supported you, finding new ways to keep you motivated and moving forward. Faculty, we all owe you a debt of gratitude for your extraordinary dedication and commitment at all times of day and night, weekends, holidays, and throughout the summer. You invited remarkable guest artists, developed new curricula, created performance opportunities, supported special projects, and continually demonstrated your selfless care for our students and school. Our incredible staff who have supported our students and faculty and kept every aspect of the school running in the most difficult of circumstances. Our conservatory office, music and orchestra librarians, audiovisual team, production team, facilities, custodial, security, residence life, wellness staff, IT, advancement, communications, finance, human resources, payroll. In truth, every area of the school has played a vital role in ensuring the support and health of our community and the long-term viability of our institution. Our board of directors, who have provided unparalleled stewardship, guidance, and support to the Colburn School throughout the past year. Our directors are deeply connected to our mission, our success, and our future, and continually demonstrate that through their commitment of time, energy, and resources. Our generous and passionate donor community who have provided critical support throughout the pandemic and have remained deeply engaged with and committed to the Colburn School. And our parents and families who have supported our graduating class during a year unlike any of us has ever experienced. To all of you, our collective gratitude for continually going above and beyond to support one another and our wonderful school. As I close today and we continue our commencement, I want you to know how optimistic I am about the future of classical music, the art form you, our graduating class, have dedicated yourselves to. There are so many signs that the future is bright, vibrant, and filled with opportunity. We see that audiences are eager to return to live performances. There is and will always be a human need to experience art together, in person. Already small performances are popping up all over LA, this country, and the world, with patrons eager to attend. There's an increased realization that chamber music and small ensemble performances have remarkable power to bring classical music to people in smaller venues, in homes, and far-flung locations. There's an important and vibrant exploration of unjustly neglected composers and performers of color that will expand the repertoire and the history and future of classical music. There are deep and vital discussions about equity, diversity, and inclusion in our field, and investments in ensuring that music and music education are accessible to all. And there is a new world of virtual performance and digital platforms enabling performances, teaching, and collaboration to reach around the globe, opening new avenues and reaching more people. These and many more encouraging developments all point not only to a recovery, but I believe a new exciting era of growth and awareness in classical music. Graduates, as the next generation of leaders in music, I know that you will each play an important role in shaping our field in the decades to come. And so, as you join the small and amazingly successful group of Colburn alumni that have come before you, please know that our responsibility to you does not end with your graduation today. For those of you returning to Colburn this fall, we look forward to seeing and hearing you in person very soon. For those of you going on to pursue degrees at other institutions or who are entering the profession, please keep in touch. We're all here to support you in the months and years ahead. Congratulations, class of 2021. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Colburn Conservatory Dean, Lee Chioppa.
Thank you, President Cardan. I would like to extend my warmest greetings to the class of 2021, families, friends, members of our board of directors, our faculty, staff, and students who are joining us here today for our virtual commencement ceremony. This graduating class is a very small group, but it is made up of extraordinary human beings who have managed to thrive despite the difficult circumstances of this past year. At the end of this ceremony, I will be reading their names, and while you won't see them walk across the stage of Zipper Hall, you will see them live in Zoom squares as we confer their degrees. And, as always, you will hear some of them perform, because regardless of the circumstances, music is what we do and celebrate every day at the Colburn School. We began the ceremony with Elisa Katahara on harp, and you will hear Nathan Moe, cellist, and the Viano Quartet, the Conservatory's first ensemble in residence. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our two student speakers who were nominated by their fellow graduating classmates to speak at this ceremony. Yanfeng Tony Bai, graduating today with his Bachelor of Music in Piano, is a student of Fabio Bedini. He will speak first, followed by Elisa Katahara. Elisa is graduating with the Master of Music in Harp and is a student of Joanne Turovsky. I give you Yanfeng Bai and Elisa Katahara.
Greetings to all of my dear Colburn faculties, colleagues, and staff members from the globe. To be honest with all you guys, I still couldn't believe that I was chosen to give this speech. I still remember the day I received the email from Dean Chioppa. I was so thrilled and, kinda scared. I never felt like I am great enough to share some deep thoughts with all of you. So I would like to just tell some of my own Colburn stories. Those stories were valuable memories to me, and I believe it represents the spirit of the Colburn School. I spent 9 years studying in the primary school, the middle school, and the high school of China Central Conservatory of Music. Truth to be told, I actually never heard of Colburn School before my first year of high school. By then, one of the piano faculty in Beijing told me that there is a piano seminar in LA will be held in the summer of 2016, which has great piano faculty members, and I should not miss it. It feels like destiny in my heart. I feel like I have to go for my curiosity and exploratory. At that time, I just made a huge decision about my future to continue studying music in the United States for college. So I told myself, 眼见为实, which means see it with your eyes for the reality. I still remember on the schedule of the piano seminar, I only have 2 lessons with Mr. Bedini. On the second lesson, I played him the Liszt Piano Sonata. And unfortunately, we couldn't finish that piece because that is a huge masterpiece that lasts for 30 minutes with only 1 movement. And I was a less good pianist. After the lesson, Mr. Bedini proposed to me to have more lessons so we can work on it to finish it. In my whole life, I attended multiple piano seminar and music festivals, but this is something I had never ever experienced. We had such a great time. We ended up with 2 extra lessons to finish that piece. I am super self-aware, so sometimes it's very hard to pull me back when I knew something is the right thing to do. In that 4 lessons, I saw his quality of honest. He always seeking for perfection, and he has so much passion and dedication in music. I think that is the spirit of our school also. So I told myself that he is the mentor I want to follow in the next 4 years. I came back the next year, auditioned the Colburn School for bachelor degree of music. I was lucky enough to get a callback note by him, and Mr. Bedini told me I am at a very good place. I just felt so grateful, and I made a promise to him. I told him if I would have the chance to receive his offer, I would come for 100%. And that's what I did. This is how my Colburn adventure started. I want to take this moment and say thank you, Mr. Bedini, for all the things you have done for me in the last 4 years. These years made me realize Colburn is really like a second home to me. I still remember the motto on our school website. You bring the passion together, we'll build your future. Also with that big sunny smile of our cellist, Sunrise Kim. In those 4 years had just passed. All of you faculties, staff members, colleagues, even our audiences, you all become a part of my history, which encouraged me and inspired me to be a better man and a better musician. So, thank you all so much. I met so many people from different countries in our school, and we spoke different languages. But you know, music is the one thing that brings us all together. I feel like as musicians in the era full of misinformation and misunderstanding, it is our duty to stand up against any form of racism. And I think the music have the ability to cure, to unite people together. I'm super grateful. When I first came to Colburn, I felt very alone at first because, you know, the whole environment is very new. And after 12 years studying in China, switching to a new country isn't an easy thing to get used of. However, I met so many talented colleagues who were also super nice to me. They reached out to me, started to do chamber music with me, and invited me to do collaborations. Also invited me to their parties. That kind of spirit and energy from them just makes me want to challenge myself and to be more involved in different fields. I started to join the Baroque ensemble, tried to learn harpsichord with Dr. Pritchard. A huge shout out to you, Dr. Pritchard, for teaching me your gorgeous improvisation skills. In our theory class, I started to create my own musical work with all my heart. In our first year of our humanity class, we did a small film for a contemporary music piece. I had the honor to be the director and the editor as well. I remember spending 2 whole nights in the computer lab to make that happen. Because that is Orchestra Week and everybody in our class had tons of things to do. I knew there is this responsibility on my shoulder that to make sure all my classmates' effort will be presented in the best mode. I was very exhausted, but when we finished that film and when I actually saw it presented in the concert, I just felt so proud, not only just for myself, because it's absolutely a team effort. Those were the evidence that shows me Colburn is way beyond just a school. It's a loving community with its own culture. Our performance forum is one of the greatest examples of this. I would say somehow performance forum was the most nervous stage for me that I had ever been to. There is this excitement and the urge because I want to perform the best of me in front of all my Colburn family members. After the concert, we celebrate together, and that was one of the greatest time for me, so I can start build connections with our talented colleagues. And some of them I don't really get a chance to talk with in daily life because I am kind of timid. It just bonded us together, and when I was in the audience seat, those gorgeous sounds played by you guys only inspired me to keep explore the possibility of music. You know, I haven't seen all of you in person for a whole year already. Oh my God, you tell me about that. But with music, I never felt alone. I know we have a diversity of student population. We respect each other's cultural background. We admire each other's talent and creativity. And most importantly, we spread love together. Pursuing the best quality of music performance is never easy. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes we got to suffer. I spent hundreds of nights like that inside of the Colburn School. But the beautifulness of making music makes it all worth it, and it just became my precious treasure. At the last, I may have to say goodbye to some of my colleagues. It feels so cruel that we don't even get the chance to say goodbye face to face with a big hug. We spent hundreds of days in school. We had hundreds of classes and we played thousands of notes together. So I want to quote this one sentence from one of my favorite Chinese poems. 海内存知己，天涯若比邻. Which means a bosom friend afar brings a distant land near. Finally, big congratulations to our class of 2021, and we have just done it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Tony, for your inspiring words. What I wouldn't give for a giant group hug and celebration of each of you reaching this triumphant point. I congratulate you for arriving here today wholly equipped to go forth and share the radiant gifts you and you alone can offer. My dear resilient class of 2021, this past year has challenged each of us uniquely. It has emotionally worn many of us down to a new degree as we experienced a foreign type of inconsolable isolation. We've been forced to relinquish all we held dear, and we have witnessed the sheer veil torn down, further laying bare economic inequality and deeply rooted racial injustice. Even so, through everything that has been aggressively flung at you, I have seen sparks of creativity ignited as each of you continues to overcome in your own glorious ways. Today, I am here to remind you that your life, your time spent at the Colburn School is so much more than a year and a half in hiding from this unrelenting virus. So please turn on the TV in your brains and flip through the memories with me as I take you back for a moment to reminisce of time spent at 200 South Grand Avenue. Colburn Colburn is being able to wake up 5 minutes before your 8 a.m. class and still making it on time, usually with teeth brushed. It is Monday orchestra rehearsals where we honestly sound a tad sketchy, but Colburn is also the careful guidance of world-renowned conductors who put the fear of God in us and by Saturday at the Soraya, help us share a dazzling concert. Upon returning to school after our smashing hit of a performance, Colburn faces absolutely smushed into backs as we shove as many of us as possible onto the elevator to get up to those thick after-concert cookies. It is the camaraderie of sitting in the piano lab at 3 a.m. as the whole class semi-melodiously bangs on the keys, cramming for a final. It is your underwear falling out of your basket, overflowing in front of a CSTA parent on your way downstairs to the laundry room. It is seeing how loudly you can scream from the audience to let your best friend know how positively obsessed you are with their passionate music making. Colburn is that invigorating moment when you're playing music with one of your peers and your brain is vibrating as you both communicate in a way that far surpasses anything you could ever say with words. It is an unmatched, perfectly in sync, visceral moment of human connection unlike any other. Colburn is a roster of the most virtuosic teachers who pour their hearts and souls into us, even when we sound like total garbage. So to you generous souls, and specifically to my own teacher, Joanne, thank you. The wisdom you imparted will stimulate our music making for a time far surpassing the moments we spent here. Colburn is administrators who continue to dream big for the future of our school. It's the superwomen of the front office who always put the needs of us students first. It is a deeply caring residential life staff, a vivacious and multifaceted music librarian and orchestra manager, and it is the most trustworthy production team on the planet. Colburn is caring advisors who gently guided our paths and academic teachers whose patience and persistence helped us formulate autonomous worldviews and flourish as both evolving beings and musicians. Colburn is a dynamic collection of the best humans who converge and make this school an incomparable place to call home. Colburn bursts full of the memories each of you hold that fashioned you up to this point. It's families and other supporters who continue to give endlessly and love unconditionally. Thank you, and we love you. To my own family, through you, I am continually reminded of the Lord's unbounding grace and mercy, and that my joy comes from serving Him. You all have my eternal gratitude. Most of all, my dear class of 2021, to me, Colburn is what it is because of each of you. It is a treasure chest overflowing with the most tremendous people, thriving in an incubator of artistry, self-discovery, and an endless amount of remarkable music making. Through my 6 years at Colburn, I marveled as each of you blossomed. To the ones who have been with me since freshman year, I witnessed your transformation from brilliant wide-eyed goobers to a vibrant string quartet famously known as Viano. Your performances continue to amaze me. I hold an astounding amount of confidence in each of you, certain that you'll find success in whatever way that means to you, music or otherwise, because you, class of 2021, are exceptional. This pandemic did not quiet your voice. You discovered powerful ways to share your gifts with the world through Zoom recitals, virtual duets, or even 20-second TikToks that had nothing to do with music whatsoever. Either way, you found a way to touch people. You made your life less about serving yourself and more about serving others. You shoot shining pearls of sound out of your instrument, and those pockets of sound hold so much power. I will never forget the amazing magic of hearing each of you speak truth with sincerity through your instruments. With your supernatural ability and artistic generosity, you can draw out healing in hearts and minds and imagine a deeply unified world into existence. Use your musical superpower wisely. Take the memories you have of Colburn. They are a source of renewable fuel to draw from, propelling you toward your future of endless possibility. So, my dear class of 2021, congratulations. I love you all and will miss you immensely.
Hi, everyone. My name is Richard Bean. I'm the chair of Wind and Percussion at the Colburn Conservatory of Music. Please accept my welcome for the graduation of 2021. What these students have been through this past year is unfathomable, and they have been so admirable, and I'm so proud of all of them. In addition to recognizing our wonderful students in this commencement, it's also a time for us to recognize our wonderful faculty, especially as they reach milestones in their life. Our tuba teacher, Norman Pearson, is retiring at the end of this term, and I want to take a moment just to recognize him. Norman joined the LA Phil as principal tuba 30 years ago. And 14 years ago, if my math is right, he joined the Colburn Conservatory and has been a valued colleague and professor these past 14 years. One of his students said, Norm is unrelentingly laid back, which I actually have to figure out how to do that. One of them said that they were deeply honored to be a part of the lineage of the LA Phil, which I totally understand, and congratulate that student for recognizing the larger umbrella of where he is and what he's a part of. There's one thing that we can do to recognize Norm's contribution, and that is to give him a status of emeritus professor of music. And I would like you to all join me in congratulating Norm for that accomplishment. Norm, we wish you the very best in your retirement in this new chapter. Keep in touch. We'll miss you. Thank you so much.
I have the great pleasure of introducing our keynote speakers, plural, as our guests today are the Calidor Quartet. And although the Washington Post said of the Calidor, 4 more individual musicians are unimaginable, yet these speak, breathe, think, and feel as one, we will hear from all 4 of them individually today. Jeffrey Myers, Ryan Meehan, Jeremy Berry, and Estelle Choi are the members of the Calidor who met here at Colburn in 2010. As Mark Swed said in a Los Angeles Times review, the Colburn looks to be an exceptional maker of string quartets. And as the Calidor Quartet celebrates over a decade of music making together, they have more than proven him right. Recipient of a 2018 Avery Fisher Career Grant and the 2017 Lincoln Center Emerging Artist Award, the quartet first made international headlines as winners of the $100,000 grand prize of the 2016 M Prize International Chamber Music Competition. The quartet was the first North American ensemble to win the Borletti Bucconi Trust Fellowship, was a BBC Radio 3 New Generation artist, and is an alum of Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center's Bowers program. They have performed in some of the most important halls in the world, including Carnegie Hall, Wigmore Hall, the Kennedy Center, Concerthaus Berlin, Brussels Mozart, Cologne Philharmonie, Seoul's Kumho Art Hall, and at significant festivals, including the BBC Proms, Verbier, Ravinia, Mostly Mozart, and Music at Menlo. They have released 5 albums and given world premieres of works by renowned composers, including Caroline Shaw, Mark Anthony Turnage, Benjamin Dean Taylor, and Hannah Lash. It is very special to have these alumni join us today to speak with you, our newest alumni. Their careers started as yours will, here at Colburn, with incomparable faculty and resources and astonishingly talented peers. And like you, they have spent the past year with doubts and fears about when live performances might return, if audiences will come back, whether our field will ever be the same. And despite having a pretty impressive list of canceled concerts, they also have a pretty impressive list of accomplishments from this past year, including streamed and live concerts from the Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center, Kennedy Caramore Festival, Spivey Hall, Emerald City Music, Asheville Chamber Music Series, Chamber Music Monterey Bay, and the Music at Menlo Festival. They released an album in fall of 2020 and have been recording the complete Beethoven quartets for Signum Records. I cannot imagine any better speakers for this particular commencement, and I am honored to introduce, in speaking order, Ryan Meehan, Jeffrey Myers, Jeremy Berry, and Estelle Choi.
We are honored to return home, even if virtually, to share in this exciting moment with all of you. We would like to thank Dean Chopa and all the members of the faculty and administration for inviting us to this 2021 Colburn Commencement. Today, we celebrate your years of effort and passion that have allowed you to thrive in this supportive community of artists. I clearly remember my first day gathering with the other excited new students in Thayer Hall for our orientation to the then young school's mission and traditions, but also of how quickly my heart escalated as I learned of the core fixture of Colburn's rigorous curriculum, the Performance Forum. Initially, the thought of performing for an audience of my hyper-talented classmates, as well as all of my teachers, seemed like throwing myself into the lion's den. I eventually learned to embrace the pressures of Forum, making later performances at Carnegie or Wigmore Hall seem not quite so scary. But I will admit I'm still conditioned to get butterflies in my stomach around 11 a.m. on any given Thursday. As my violin teacher, Robert Lipset, often reminded us about every string player's Achilles heel, the dreaded fourth finger, you either use it or lose it. This mentality applies to everything about our Colburn education, learning through experience rather than just mere theory to prepare us for the rigors of a musical career. Mr. Lipset's guidance, along with the wise words of our other Colburn mentors, continues to resound and guide us on our path years after leaving 200 South Grand Avenue. Life is not a bagel. This unofficial Colburn slogan, coined by our beloved conductor and clarinet teacher, Yehuda Galad, is perhaps more potent today than ever before. With each passing year, the increasing complexity of our lives has allowed us to derive more meaning and comfort from the words of Yehuda's annual welcome speech, especially his assertion that to be a great musician, we must have a sense of humor. Initially, I probably understood that phrase to mean it was okay to crack jokes with the other freshmen in the back of the second violin section. But as I've lived with those words, I realize that the success of any relationship, even that which we have with ourselves, is dependent on our ability to laugh at our mistakes, let go of misunderstandings and difficult situations. We've seen this exemplified in our mentors time and time again, like the members of the Guarneri or Emerson quartets, throughout our rehearsals, interviews, and coachings together. Undoubtedly, humor is one of the ingredients to their success and longevity in their career. In confronting setbacks, we must consider the phenomenon of the anti-bio. The anti-bio, described to us by our formative mentor, Paul Coletti, is a list that describes every failure, loss, or setback that an artist experiences in the pursuit of their dream. Many of you would be surprised to read through the archives of international music competitions and find that legends such as the violinists David Oistrakh or Gidon Kramer were not always among the first prize winners. Accepting the anti-bio as an unavoidable reality helps us to assuage the fear of failure most of us confront at one point or another. It helps pick us up and to try again for the next audition, concert, or competition, and establishes that the only true failure is not trying at all. Finally, I would like to address the power of gratitude. This was a quality that our first manager, mentor, and dear friend, Laura Leopins, exemplified. In our initial meeting together, Laura spoke of how even something as simple as a handwritten thank you card can have a tremendous impact on building relationships between an artist and their supporters. In the dozens of phone calls we shared after graduation, she would always end the conversation by reaffirming how excited, proud, and grateful she was to have us in her life. Her words and actions epitomize the Colburn spirit. We see in each of you the same kind of hope, loyalty, ingenuity, and talent that Laura worked so hard to promote, and we feel immensely grateful to be celebrating this moment with all of you today.
On the 13th of March 2020, the quartet landed back in New York, not knowing that this was the last time that we would see each other for many months. Considering the longest time that we had been apart in the last decade was measured in weeks, not months, this was an unprecedented time of uncertainty. At the time, we were swamped with a binder full of repertoire, which by itself was keeping me up at night. The first cancellations started to come in, and in all honesty, there's a brief moment of relief. At the time, I fully expected our fearless foursome to be back on stage in a matter of weeks. Once concerts were beginning to be canceled months in advance, I knew that I had to recalibrate my expectations. With the absence of travel and rehearsals, this allowed me to spend time with solo repertoire that otherwise would have remained in the need to learn pile for all of eternity. After this honeymoon stage, I quickly realized that there was something missing and that there was no amount of Netflix that could fix it. The something missing was making music with others and sharing our voice with an audience. After what seemed like several lifetimes, the quartet reunited in late June for a few outdoor concerts and live stream recordings. Our first rehearsal back was something that I soon won't forget. The first notes we played were that of Beethoven Opus 130. I was immediately overwhelmed with emotion and a revitalized appreciation for this eternal music. This strange and unique time has reinforced our passion for music making and has shown itself to be an essential part not only of our lives, but our identity as people. No matter what this world throws our way, we can be certain that music will always keep us going.
Wow, what a tough year it's been. With the world and all of the music industry at a halt, it has been hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like so many, I have struggled with the anxiety at the uncertainty of what the future brings, both professionally as well as personally, with so many of my friends and colleagues being scattered across the world to wait out this pandemic. But for the first time, things are looking up. We thank the many committed individuals and organizations for creating amazing virtual performances that have both helped musicians continue to develop and present their craft and help audiences by filling a small part of the void that this pandemic has created. However, we have recently been feeling from our contacts on the ground in New York City and from everyone we have met in some of our recent travels a boiling need for the real thing. In-person performances with audiences present. Audiences are yearning for the concert hall and to hear art created in the moment. Presenters are ready to bring in artists and are coming up with innovative and brilliant ways of hosting concerts in a safe fashion. The amazing donors that make our art form possible are still here and waiting to help support all of us and allow us to continue our craft. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Our art form not only will continue, but it will explode as the world becomes safer and safer. With the isolation and the negativity that all of us have had to battle throughout this pandemic, our art form has never been more relevant and never more needed than now. If we were all together in Zipper Hall, I would say to turn around to your fellow graduating classmates, as well as all of those continuing on at Colburn, who would be behind you cheering you on with incredible enthusiasm. I would ask you to be thankful for all of the support that you have received from those around you, and to know that you are leaving or starting anew at Colburn with hardened friendships with some of the most incredible musicians in the world that will continue on and flourish throughout your careers. We are making it out of this pandemic by sticking together, by helping and loving one another, and by staying positive in the face of an event that we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
So much was asked of our music students across the world during this pandemic. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, you were still expected to continue your progress as artists by connecting with your teachers and peers, sometimes thousands of miles away. You were, on top of that, expected to communicate and be reached at all hours of the day and night. Then we asked what seemed impossible. To have faith in the future of your field and trust that this new isolated world away from our beloved audiences would soon pass and that we would be together again soon. Each of you delivered in your own way, despite having many reasons not to. Every time you started that video for a lesson, perhaps helped a less tech-savvy teacher attempt to screen share, let us know that we were muted, sometimes by text, or even joined a webinar, or managed to get that YouTube link uploaded, you were telling us that things were going to be all right and that this was all worthwhile. If students are able to persevere and push themselves against so many obstacles, music was powerful enough to make it through this challenging time. Turns out, as your teachers and as professional artists, we needed this connection the most. We needed to witness you grow artistically so that we too could have faith in our own work and the work we had done to build our careers to this point. Where did our inspiration come from during this devastating time for the arts? From you. Our inspiration came from your commitment, your curiosity, immense creativity, and incredible imagination. Through your hard work, you've kept our spirits up and our hearts full with immense hope and pride for the next generation of performing artists. You are part of an elite generation that has a level of empathy and drive like no other because of what you have been through. You will undoubtedly use this renewed strength and optimism to push the limits of the power of music and build on the tremendous contribution you've already made to classical music. As teachers and professional artists, we thank you for giving us hope when we needed it the most. And in a world of uncertainty, what we can be sure of is that each of you possess the passion to continue making a difference. Congratulations, Colburn's graduating class of 2021. We wish you all the best.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Colburn class of 2021.
I have the honor of presenting the Colburn Conservatory of Music graduating class of 2021. The students graduating today have successfully completed their various program requirements as established by the faculty, and in doing so, have also contributed to the growth and life of the Colburn School. Candidates for the Bachelor of Music are Yanfeng Bai, Zachary Brandon, Alina Hove, Tiffany Kang, Emma Lee, Olivia Marks, Madison Marshall, Nathan Moe, Wei Pan, Stephen Song. Candidates for the Master of Music are Aiden Kane, Elisa Katahara, Stephen Metcalf, Lucy Wong, Tate Zawadiak, Hao Zhou. The candidate for the Artist Diploma is Gregory Joseph David Lewis. It is now my pleasure to introduce the chairman of our board of directors, Andrew Milstein.
Hello, I'm Andrew Milstein, chairman of the Colburn Board of Directors. It's my pleasure to be here virtually with the graduating class of 2021. The past year has truly demonstrated the strength and determination of Colburn students. Despite the distance temporarily separating our community, you have shown a resolve to forge ahead and an inspiring dedication to your craft. I hope you all take great pride in what you have accomplished, and I wish you the very best as you begin your lives after Colburn. With that, it is now my pleasure to say that by virtue of the power vested in me by the state of California and the board of directors of the Colburn School, and on recommendation of the faculty, I hereby confer upon the members of the class of 2021 the Bachelor of Music degree, the Master of Music degree, and the Artist Diploma. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
I'm so excited to see all of your faces, even though it is here on Zoom. And congratulations to every single one of you again. Will all of the graduates please switch your tassels from the right to the left? Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, faculty, staff, members of our board of directors, I give you the class of 2021. And I wish we could give you resounding applause. We do usually end our commencement ceremony to resounding applause. And you would usually recess to the music played by a brass quintet. And to conclude our ceremony today, the brass department, the entire brass department, would like to offer a very special performance, which I think at the end of this year, you will all recognize every note in honor of Norm Pearson. Norm, thank you again. Enjoy your retirement. And to the class of 2021, so many congratulations and best wishes from every single one of us here at Colburn. You did. Yeah.